Do you ever feel like everything is a struggle? Like you're just stuck in this loop of trying to do things, but then fall behind, you procrastinate and disappoint people, not really have any time to take care of yourself? ADHD takes control of your life and just decides to ruin it, and you have nothing to do about it because you tried your best. I know you did, because that's how I felt. And a lot of people on the internet share the same story. They're like, ADHD is ruining my life, my finances, my relationships. It breaks my heart to read that, especially now that I know that there are better ways for us to deal with these things, and most people don't know them. So in this video, I want to share them with you, and we'll talk about how to recognize and acknowledge your struggles, how to actually get support and understanding so you can overcome them, and the practical things that you can start using today to actually rebuild your confidence and your life with ADHD. But really, the most important thing is the recognition, because if you can't understand how your ADHD is affecting you, we can't really do anything to work on it, right? So here's an example I find really helpful. Imagine you're in school and one of your classmates has broken their arm, so they can't write. What will people do? Maybe excuse them from doing homework or tests, have them take verbal exams, or ask the class to share their notes with them, etc. At least that's what we did in my class. And my classmate kept up just fine. In fact, she even learned to write with her other arm on her own, and then she could do things for herself again. But what if we acted like nothing happened instead? Like we just couldn't see that she broke her arm, and she couldn't see it either. There's no cast on it, no nothing, just the effects of it. We probably wouldn't have helped her then. We would have judged her for not writing homework, for not doing tests. We wouldn't offer any accommodations and asked her to take her own notes. What, is she lazy? And if she believed in that too, she'd feel terrible, because something like that can really ruin your confidence long term. But doesn't that story sound familiar? Because I mean, that's literally how we treat most people with ADHD. People don't see the struggle, so they assume that there isn't one, and they don't offer the help, and they don't offer the accommodations. They just judge, and we judge ourselves too. So if treating someone who's physically injured that way sounded awful to you, I want to remind you that we're not that different. You have a genuine problem that you deserve support and accommodations for, but most people literally have no idea. And you know why awareness is so important? Because I mean, it helps to know why you struggle. It's ADHD, but you still struggle, you know? At least that's how I felt. Like Harry Potter coming back to his aunt's house from Hogwarts, where literally nobody cares he's a wizard or even believes that ADHD, magic, is real anyway. Like nothing had changed in the actual world. But truly, everything changed. Because before my diagnosis, I was pre-Hogwarts Harry, wondering why I'm different and pissing people off by randomly freeing the snakes from the zoo. And now I'm full-on Hogwarts Harry. I know why I'm different, and I can piss people off intentionally by inflating the house guests at the dinner table and not giving myself crap about it. That's the real power of knowing you have ADHD.
You're a wizard, Harry.
See? It's different. So let's talk about how you can turn the awareness into actions and practice and learn to do things in your own way. First, keep learning, like you're doing now. You're watching some content, reading the posts, reading the books. It's really good to start with some expert opinions. Russell Barkley, for example, has solid scientific foundations and facts that it's really good to know. But then it's even better to look at other ADHDers who are struggling with things and are talking about it on the internet or in real life. Because I wasn't sure I had emotional dysregulation from reading the science, right? It's hard to recognize yourself in a definition and a study or something. But had I watched my own short about how showing your friend a song and being really excited about it, but then receiving a really lukewarm reaction can absolutely destroy your day and crush your soul, well, I know that I do, in fact, have emotional dysregulation. But I couldn't, because I hadn't made it back then. Well, now, at least you can watch it. So Reddit, TikTok, YouTube, that's where you start. And when you recognize your struggles, there's two things I find really helpful to work on them in practice: support and accommodation/strategies. But support is really the main thing here, because if you have no one in your court, no one who gets you, no one who is there for you emotionally, it's so much harder to get anything done. And I can't stress that enough. I have a wonderful husband who's always talking me through things, helping me overcome blockages and anxieties, even cooking for me like 90% of the time because I hate it. So it was easy for me to almost forget how hard it was to do things when I was alone for 3 years and having to do it all on my own. But one of you reminded me of this under my exercise video, and thank you so much for this comment because you are so right. It's even the biggest thing that carries Harry Potter through his struggles too. He has a crappy real family. Lots of people hate him. He's not in the best school in terms of having it easy, but his 2 best friends make his life 1,000% better. And as a wizard with ADHD, there's something really interesting you may have noticed so far. We get on really well. My best friends in this world, for example, for like over 10 years, both have ADHD. And so do many of my other close friends. I don't think it's random at all, because we can talk about things for hours. We have deep emotional connections. We have lots of emotional support for each other, and we deal with many of the same problems. So we relate and empathize with our struggles. It makes perfect sense. ADHD friends are some of the only people you can truly be yourself with, as in unmask, and not worry about the consequences because they won't care if you're too intense, oversharing, unhinged, emotional, or ashamed for procrastinating or something like that. Like, we get it. Quote, after reading about ADHD on Reddit, I never felt so welcome or close to people before. You can read the whole comment on the screen. And it really hits the nail on the head because we get you, Sean. I vibe with literally everything you wrote. So ADHD friendships are kind of the best. And if you don't know anyone with ADHD, you need to work on that ASAP. Go make some friends in the comments. If you don't know anyone, drop someone a kind message. Share how you feel. Share this experience. The more you learn about ADHD and meet people and make friends, the more you'll begin to understand that your struggles are normal. That's how you protect yourself from the muggles who might try to invalidate your struggle and gaslight you into thinking that you're lazy or unmotivated or that ADHD is all in your head. It doesn't exist, or at least you don't have it.
It's a psychosocial fraud. Hyperactivity is an iatrogenic disease created by schools. We use amphetamines to conveniently modify the behavior of bored boys because we're too stupid to construct our education systems in a manner that doesn't drive them mad.
You know better. And eventually, if you're ready and you want to really cement that validation, that acceptance and confidence, I really recommend speaking to a professional, a therapist, a psychiatrist, an ADHD coach, whatever you have available to you. Not like in Bulgaria, where there's pretty much nothing. I mean, thankfully we have the internet where there is options for everyone and more things are possible than before. But just please don't go to things like BetterHelp because they're super scammy. And if you search on YouTube for like 2 minutes, you'll find out that that's not the best place to go and share your soul with people. You can trust a specialist that this is real and use that validation to move on from blaming yourself, judging yourself, things that are just eating away at your confidence. That's when the ADHD hacks and strategies come in. Because if you've tried a certain hack, let's say a Pomodoro timer, 25 minutes of working, 5 minutes of break, and then it doesn't work, so you're just hyper-focusing for 6 hours and forgot to eat or pee or anything and ignored your break, it doesn't have to mean that the hack doesn't work for you, period. It just means that you might need something different that day. And when you know how you function and understand that, you'll know what strategy you want to use that will work. These strategies are kind of like tools in your toolbox, but you are the master that is doing the work and has to know which one to use and when. A great place to start are the strategies that I share in this video, because they're actually ADHD-friendly, easy to use, and not a bunch of toxic productivity garbage that only works for neurotypicals.